بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى ال سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. سبحانك لا علم لنا الا ما علمتنا انك انت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اما بعد، أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تدخلوا بيوتا غير بيوتكم حتى تستأنسوا وتسلموا على أهلها ذلكم خير لكم لعلكم تذكرون. وقال الله تعالى: وأدخل الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها بإذن ربهم تحيتهم فيها سلام. صدق الله العظيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted all of us rights in Islam. So we all enjoy rights in Islam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us rights over others, and others, they enjoy rights over us. And this is the justice in Islam. And when people are given their rights and the rights of others are fulfilled, then this creates mahabbah, it creates peace, it creates unity, and the deen, Islam, the religion, the ummah is also strengthened. There's one very amazing and simple hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, where he mentions 6 rights. And these rights are at a very normal level, at a very personal level, that each and every one of us should fulfill these rights. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, لِلْمُؤْمِنِ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِ سِتُّ خِصَالٍ, that a believer enjoys 6 rights over another believer, over his Muslim brother and sister. And these rights, as I mentioned, are at a very personal level. Each and every believer is able to fulfill this. This is how easy our deen is. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam here, he mentions these rights because they are very easy for each and every believer to fulfill. And normally, when we speak of rights, then we have this grand view in our mind. It might be very, very difficult, or it might, involve some sacrifice. No, there are many rights that we have over others, which are very easy to follow. And if we fulfill these rights, then we, become closer to each other. Our love for each other is enhanced at a very, very great level. And these rights, the first one, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, يَعُودُهُ إِذَا مَرِيضٍ, that when your Muslim brother or sister becomes ill, then you should go and visit. عِيَادَتْ كَرْنَا جَبْ بِمَارْ هُوَ. And visiting the sick is a very, very important, amazing, and a simple sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When they become ill, you go ask them how they are, or you go and tell them, La ba'tatahu, inshallah. That لا بأس طهور. Don't worry, Allah will grant you shifa. Allah will purify you from your illness. So we are giving them dua and making them feel better. And there are many other du'as that we can read when going to visit those who are ill. But obviously you have to ensure it's our mahram. You can't just go visiting to your non-mahrams as well. So the sharia of the parda still applies, like hijab. And other hadith mentioned that the person who goes to visit the sick, then 70,000 angels make dua. So normally we ask each other for du'as. But here, when we go to visit someone, the angels are the ones who make dua for us. And when we go and visit someone, we should not spend too much time. If the person who is ill and they enjoy our company, they want us to stay longer, then there's no harm in it. But usually, you should go spend some time and leave, because most of the time they need their rest. So the first one is Ya'udu ila marid, that the right our Muslim Ummah has over us, over each other that we have, is that when someone becomes ill, we should go and try and visit them. Number two, and this visiting the ill, this Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we heard these stories many times. That there was a woman who used to throw rubbish on the path of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and one day she was missing. So he asked, he was told she is ill. So he went to see her, and she became Muslim. Then there was that young Jewish boy. He used to serve and help Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam here and there. So when he became ill, Prophet ﷺ went to see him, and he was in his last moments. And the Prophet ﷺ invited him to Islam. And he looks up to his father. His father nods his head and says, "Yes, go ahead." And just before he dies, the child embraces Islam. So we see that there's so much benefit there is when we go and visit the sick, and Rasulullah ﷺ would constantly do that. The second one, وَيَشْهَدُهُ إِذَا مَاتَ, that when they pass away, then you attend their janazah salah. That's another right. So janazah salah, we must attend. We should attend. Why? Because it is a right. It is a right. And when we do janazah, the janazah salah is a dua of maghfirah. It is a salah. But the salah is a dua for maghfirah. It's a means of seeking forgiveness for the deceased. Normally, in some places, that after janazah salah, they do another dua. We should not do another dua. Why? Because the janazah salah itself is a very, very powerful dua of maghfirah, means of seeking forgiveness for the deceased. And you make dua for goodness for him. You go to the graveyard. The hadith mentions that when a person attends the janazah salah, he gets the reward of one qira'ah. And when he attends the burial as well, to the graveyard, in the funeral, buried in the grave, then you get reward of two qira'ah. So when you go here, one and one there. So if you go together, in both places, two qira'ah. Sahaba, so now what does qira'ah mean? So qira'ah means equal, reward equal to the Mount of Uhud. And Mount of Uhud was very beloved to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet ﷺ referred it to as a part of him. And Mount Uhud, when we went there, it's very long. It's a bit high, but it's quite long. It's a very long distance. So it's a very huge mountain. So Rasulullah ﷺ says, the one who attends janazah salah, one qira'ah. And the one who attends burial as well, one qira'ah. So you get two qira'ah, reward equal to Mount of Uhud. So that's another right that we have. That when they pass away, we involve ourselves in their janazah. We are there. We are there to share their grief. Because they are part of our ummah. They are part of our community. The third one, وَيُجِيبُهُ إِذَا دَعَاهُ, that when you are invited somewhere, you should accept the invitation. He says, let's go with me, we eat together today. Come to my home to visit. Then you should accept their invitation. Because if someone, out of goodness of his heart, says, let's go, and you say no, then they might feel bad. Or if you are busy, then you can reschedule. Ask them, that at the moment I'm going to work or I have this task which I planned from before, but is it okay if we arrange another time? Then you go and visit them and you accept their invitation. So weddings, for example, you should accept. But obviously there are instances where they invite you towards something which is not allowed in Sharia. Then we have to politely say, I'm sorry, but this does not involve the right things, so I can't accept it. So there we are allowed to say no, and we should say no, but in a very polite and nice manner, that they learn a lesson from it as well. And there was one elder person, he was invited to a wedding. And he said, how is the wedding going to be? Is it going to be mixed? Is there music? He said, yes, music. So he was older, so he said to him, what will I benefit? My one leg is in the grave. So let me carry on doing Allah, Allah, rather than coming to a gathering to join you. So very nicely and politely. And the person became really happy because you've won over my heart by declining it in such a beautiful and amazing way. So he goes, don't worry, I will make dua for you. So this is the way we treat each other. So number 3, when you are given an invitation, then we should accept the invitation. That's the third right that a believer has over another believer. And the fourth one, وَيُسَلِّمُ عَلَيْهِ إِذَا لَقِيَ, that when you greet them, when you meet them, then you should greet them. وَيُسَلِّمُ عَلَيْهِ, say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh when you meet each other. The fifth one, وَيُشَمِّتُهُ إِذَا عَطَسَ, that when he sneezes, when a Muslim sneezes, then he will say Alhamdulillah, she will say Alhamdulillah, and you should say Yarhamullah. You should give them the dua. The hadith of Rasulullah teaches us, when someone sneezes, then they themselves should say Alhamdulillah straight. Sometimes they say loud, sometimes they say softly. But usually, because we say it so often, it's natural. It's become part of our nature. It's Alhamdulillah straight. And in the English Scottish people, they say bless you. So it's a similar concept that they have taken from Islam. But Alhamdulillah, that praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when we sneeze, there's like a blockage and things like that behind. So when we sneeze, it releases it. Imagine that you want to sneeze and it doesn't sneeze. It can cause a lot of medical harm as well. This speak later on, we'll explain to you what it involves. So we say Alhamdulillah, then the right over another believer is that we should say Yarhamukallah and reply to them. May Allah have mercy on you. And the sixth one, وَيَنْصَحُهُ إِذَا غَابَ أَوْ شَهِدَ, that whether he's present or in their absence, in both cases, you should be a well-wisher for your people. So it doesn't mean that when in front of you, when you are with them, or when they know about you, then you just have like a positive attitude towards them. Like you show yourself that you are a well-wisher for them. But in their absence or behind their back, then you are up to no good. You have no good thoughts about you. You are a well-wisher for them. So in every essence, you have to be polite, courteous, mindful, helpful with regard to himself, his property, his family, should be caring. So in every circumstance, whether they are there in their presence or in their absence. So these are the 6 rights that every believer has over the other. So number 1, that you should visit them when they are ill. Number 2, when they pass away, you should attend their janazah. Number 3, you should accept their invitation. Number 4, you should do salam to them when you meet them. Number 5, when they sneeze, they say Alhamdulillah, you should reply Yarhamukallah. And number 6, you should be a well-wisher for them in their absence and in their presence. So today, inshallah, I will focus a bit more about salam. Because salam is something very, very simple, very, very basic. And this brings about so much goodness. So much goodness. In a hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, لا تدخلوا الجنة حتى تؤمنوا. That you will not enter Jannah until you bring Iman. So the shart and the key to enter Jannah is Iman. Without Iman, there is no entry into Jannah. No entry. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, وَلَا تُؤْمِنُوا حَتَّى تَحَابُوا. And your Iman cannot be complete until you have love for each other. So if you have enmity for anyone, you have jealousy in your heart, you have kina, bughz, hatred, all these things that you have for someone, then you will not enter Jannah until you purify your hearts. بِقَلْبٍ Salim. You have to have a pure heart, a Salim heart. In every essence, in your ibadah, in your ta'alluq with Allah and ta'alluq with other people as well. So this one is وَلَا تُؤْمِنُوا حَتَّى تَحَابُّوا. So your iman is not complete. You have not perfected the iman until you love each other. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then he says that should I not teach you a method by which you will be able to increase this love, mutual love between each other. أَوَلَا أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى شَيْءٍ إِذَا فَعَلْتُمُ تَحَابَّبْتُمْ. Should I not tell you regarding something which if you practice upon it, then you will have mutual love amongst yourselves. You have love for one another. It says, أَفْشُوا السَّلَامَ بَيْنَكُمْ. Spread salam amongst you. Many times, we end up having a bit of difference between each other. Sometimes some argument. And how do you resolve this? Many times it's hard to say sorry. People cannot bring up the courage to go to someone and say sorry. Then what do? You start by saying salam. And usually you pass by, if each other smile, and then from far away you do a salam or something. So slowly, and then that salam will bring you closer, and that whatever you have between the differences that you have in your hearts between each other will slowly go away. So when a person says Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So Assalam, what is he implying? What is he saying? So Assalam is a sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is a quality, is a name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abdul Salam. We name someone Abdul Salam, Abdul Rahman. All these are names of Allah. So As-Salam is one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it means the giver of peace. So Allah is the giver of peace. Allah is the owner of peace. Allah is the one who bestows peace. Today we all want peace. So Allah is the one who will grant us peace. Why? Because He is As-Salam. Imam Bukhari rahmatullah alayhi, he says that Anas radiallahu anhu reports in hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, As-Salam is indeed a name from the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed on this earth. So As-Salam is the name of Allah that Allah has placed on this earth. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, therefore, spread salam amongst yourselves in abundance. So when we are saying Assalamu alaikum, we are saying to our fellow Muslim that you are safe from any injury or harm from myself. Aap mujhse salam. You are at peace. I will not harm you. I will not cause you any difficulty. And I am invoking the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you. And Allah's rahmah and peace be upon you. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So peace, blessings, and rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now the person knows that he is completely safe from you. So then what does he do? In return, you have given him the guarantee. He says, Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are also at peace from me. You are also at peace from me. So now both on each side, we have guaranteed peace on each other. So salam is a remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and an expression of love, mahabbah, peace, harmony between Muslims. That is why there is a greeting of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Afshu salam bainakum. Spread salam amongst you. Abdullah ibn Salam, radiallahu anhu, a Sahaba, he was Jewish rabbi. He accepted Islam and Rasulullah came to Medina Munawwara. And he says, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he first came, the first advice that he gave was, Ya ayyuhan nas, afshu salam. That, O people, spread salam. And he says, when he was saying these words, I could see that he was not a liar. He was honest and he was not a false prophet. He was a genuine Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first advice he shared when he entered Medina Munawwara, he gathered all the Sahaba, the Ansar, the Muhajirun, and others who had come to see him. They heard him say, Ya ayyuhan nas afshu salam. O people, spread salam. Why? Because salam creates that love and mahabbah. And in Medina Munawwara at that time there were two tribes, the Aus and the Khazraj. Now these Aus and Khazraj, they had a history of long wars and quarreling with each other for a very, very long time. So Islam, when Rasulullah came, he brought them together. And the simplest advice he gave them to strengthen that mahabba and unity, to remove that concept of fighting and quarreling and warmongering over the years. What was it? He said, Afshu salam. Spread salam widely. And then he says, وَأَطْعِمُوا الطَّعَامِ, and feed each other. Normally we say we must only feed the poor. No, feed each other, your neighbors, your friends, your colleagues. Khane khilao. The way to a person's heart is food. So when you eat together, you have good conversation. Imam Hazrat Ahmad says, when we eat, we should not stay quiet. We should have a good conversation when we are eating. So khamosh nahi khana chahiye. You should talk, but have a good conversation when you are eating. And you keep on remembering the lessons of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while you are eating. So food is a way to a person's heart. So Rasulullah said, and feed each other. Wasil arham, and join your relationships, your ties. Don't break them. So you start off with salam. And you feed each other. So now that muhabba is growing. Now what do? Once that strengthening is happening, you make sure you don't break it. Wasilul arham. Don't break the relationships that have been built now. And you are building them. And then he says, وَصَلُّوا بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّاسُ نِيَامٌ. And then at night, when people are asleep, you should wake up and connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. During the day, you work on your connection with the people, with the community. And at night, you work on your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. تَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ بِسَلَامٍ. You will enter Jannah with salam, peace. So you start off with salam, and you practice upon all of that, and you enter Jannah. So this is the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. A Sahaba come to Rasulullah and says, Ya Rasulullah, ayyul Islami khayr. And in Islam there are so many good qualities, that every quality in Islam is beautiful. But Ya Rasulullah, show me something which is good for me, which is the best, I can practice upon it. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in that occasion, he said two answers. He says, تُطْعِمُ الطَّعَامِ, that feed each other. Why? That is good for you. Increase mahabba and love and all of that. And he says, وَتَقْرَأُ السَّلَامَ عَلَى مَنْ عَرَفْتَ وَمَنْ لَمْ تَعْرِفْ. And you should do salam on those whom you know, you recognize, and those whom you don't know. So जिसे पहचाने उसको भी सलाम करो, और जिसे ताल्लुक नहीं है उससे भी सलाम करो. जिसकी पहचान नहीं है उससे भी सलाम करो. So those you know and those you don't know, you should do salam to them. Normally we do salam only to those who we know. ताल्लुक है तो सलाम करते हैं. ताल्लुक नहीं तो we don't do salam. Many times we've seen a group of people are standing and someone will come and do salam. They will do salam to who? Only those whom they know. The one person whom they don't know, they will ignore them and they will go away. It's happened many times in front, in this masjid as well. Standing there outside, they'll come to salam Maulana, and the person next to Maulana, there's no salam. Why? Because they don't know them. So that makes them feel, yeah, मैं मुसलमान नहीं हूँ क्या? यही मौलाना मुसलमान है? No, you should do salam to everyone, whether you know them or you don't know them. And obviously, sometimes you're not sure if they're Muslim or not. It's a different story. You can just raise your hands and smile at them or greet at them. So it usually happens. You're not sure sometimes whether they're Muslim or not. So you smile at them and just put up your hand. Then they will do salam to you. Why? Because if you are in a miserable state as a Muslim, and they will know as a Muslim, and they will do salam to you. And there is no harm in greeting or acknowledging someone who is not Muslim as well. It's good to be in a superstore, in a supermarket, at tills, hello, how are you? Many of us, we have customers, we deal with them in a nice manner. So if he becomes a Muslim, if the person is a Muslim, they will end up doing salam if you are not sure. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was teaching that. The beginning steps towards unity. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam preached his salam amongst the warring tribes of Medina Munawwara because they would have quarrels over small things. But salam was one of the things that brought them together. Tufayl, rahmatullah alayhi wa tabi'i, he says, I used to go to visit Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu. And when I would go to visit him, he would say, let's go with me. And we would go to the market and he would just go around, he would buy nothing, he would do nothing. And he wouldn't just, you just walk in the supermarket, in the market area, and just do salam to everyone. The people there, the buyers, the sellers, the poor, anyone who was there, he would do salam. So once we asked him, let's go with him. He said, why do we have to go? You're not buying anything anyway. Or you're not asking for a price, nothing. You just go there, walk, and you come back. Why just sit here and have a conversation and have a chat here rather than go to the market? So he says, Ya Aba Batan. And Tufail Rahmatullahi, he was a bit chubby. He said, oh father of the stomach. That's a joke for him. He said, then he says to him, إنما نغدو من أجل السلام that نسلم على من لقينا. The reason that I go to the market is just so that I can do salam to everyone I meet. What he said? That I just go there to go and do salam to everyone I meet. Why? Because when he goes there, he is doing salam, acknowledging someone. You ask them, how are you? Are you okay? That makes them feel better. So now you are increasing love and peace and harmony, and there's a great reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this reading of salam was taught by Allah to Adam alayhi salam. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam, He said to him that go to the angels and say assalamu alaikum to them. Do salam to them. And listen attentively to what reply they give to you, and this will be your greeting and for your progeny. The greeting for your progeny. So he says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And the angels reply, Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's the greeting of Islam. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِذَا دَخَلْتُمْ بُيُوتًا فَسَلِّمُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِكُمْ تَحِيَّةً مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ مُبَارَكَةً طَيِّبَةً. That's how important salam is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions salam in the Quran many times. He says that when you enter the house, then you should do salam. What should you do? Salam. When you enter the house. What will happen? تَحِيَّةً مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. It is a greeting from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So salam is a greeting from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mubarakah, very blessed. Very, very blessed. Tayyiba, very, very pure as well. That's why in a hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that when you enter your home, he was advising Anas radiallahu anhu, Ya Bunay, oh my beloved son, when you enter your home, fasallim, do salam. Yakun barakatan alayk wa ala ahli bayt. It will become a means of barakah for you, a means of blessing for you, and a means of blessing for the people of your household, your family members. So when we enter the house, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tadkhulu buyutan ghayra buyutikum hatta tasta'nisu wa tusallimu ala ahliha. This is not your home, someone else's house. And you go there and find out who there is and do salam to announce yourself. ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ. So these concepts of salam, Allah, the Quran mentioned, Allah says, وَأُدْخِلَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ. When we enter Jannah, that those people who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those people who learn good deeds, Allah will enter them into Jannah, under which rivers are going to be flowing, and they will be in there forever and ever. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, تَحِيَّتُهُمْ فِيهَا salam. That their welcome, their salam, their greeting is going to be salam. So this salam is the greeting of Jannah. The inhabitants of Jannah, they will use salam with each other. And when Allah gave Adam alayhi salam, he was taught the salam. So that's why salam is something very, very amazing, and we should implement this. In a hadith, Rasulullah says, Inna awla nasi billahi ta'ala man bada'a bis-salam. Those who are the closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the ones who are the first ones to do salam. So you meet someone, don't wait for them to do salam. You do salam. You'll be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the hadith says, Al-Badi'u bis-salam bari'u min al-qib. That the one who is the first one initiates salam, then they are free from pride. Or the etiquettes. The younger one should do salam to the elder one. The etiquettes are there in place. The etiquettes are there in place. But also we should not wait. If they don't do salam, then you should do salam. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those who fulfill this right that Rasulullah mentioned in the hadith that the 6 rights of believers, and one of them is that when you meet an unbeliever, you should do salam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase love, muhabba, and peace between our hearts.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله